You know when people buy you drumsticks as a gift because they know you're a drummer, but you feel a bit weird about it because you don't actually want to use them? Either they're a bit gimmicky or they're not the size you're used to. It's hit that point where we have to start using those. I recently posted a meme on Instagram about the high prices of drumsticks, and it blew up, and it made me realize that this is a problem that all of us are going through. Drumsticks, the tools that we need to play drums, have just gotten incredibly expensive, and it's becoming hard to keep up. While a pair of Vic Firth 5As used to cost below $10 a while ago, they are now $15 and up depending on where you look. In this video, we're going to look at why drumsticks have gotten so expensive, and then I'm going to give you a few tips and ideas of what we can do about it. Okay, so when looking at the big price hikes of drumsticks, there are 4 big reasons that we can explore. Reason number 1, competition. So this one's quite obvious. If you have brands like Vic Firth, Promark, Meinl Stick and Brush, Vater, they all are competing with each other to get our sales. And if Vic Firth is still making good profit on selling $15 drumsticks, Promark is going to see that and think, okay, well, we can also sell $15 drumsticks because drummers are okay to pay that much. Reason number 2, lumber prices. So remember that thing that happened a few years ago where we all had to stay inside for a while? I've heard this from a few places, but apparently there was a lumber shortage because of that whole ordeal, and that has just shot the wood prices up. And naturally, when these stick companies need to buy stock to create the sticks, it costs more. So then they boost the prices because they still need to make profit. Reason number 3, inflation. So I read this somewhere, and I don't know how true it is, but it made a bit of sense when looking back at how much I've been buying drumsticks for over the past few years. So inflation is just something that affects us all, not just drums. You go into the store, a Coke will cost way more than it did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. That should have happened with drumsticks, but drumstick companies kept the prices of sticks the same for a long time. And now what's happened is they've started adjusting their prices to match what everything else has inflated with, and that has now led this sudden jump in prices, as opposed to drumsticks costing $8 and then $9 and then $10, which makes sense because I went to a music store last year and the drumstick costed that much, and then when I went the next time it was like almost double the price. And at the time I was like, no man, these greedy music store owners are just trying to steal from me. But with this whole jump inflation thing, it kind of makes sense. Reason number 4, shipping costs. So this one is definitely the worst one, and it is not something that affects you if you live in the US or the UK. So because I live in South Africa, drumstick companies in the US will send stock over to South Africa, and then the suppliers here will have to pay shipping costs, and then they send those drumsticks to the music store. So the music store pays the suppliers, who pay shipping costs, who pay the main kind of brands that send those sticks out, and that all leads drumsticks to be more expensive in less developed areas. And that's why Vic Firth 5As cost $27 where I live as opposed to $15 in America, which is absolutely crazy. And it's why people in South Africa, like the pro drummers here, have stopped playing Promark, Vic Firth, Vater, like the big brands. We are now all scrambling to find cheaper brands that still hold up in terms of quality. So if you're watching this and you are in the US, you are actually lucky that drumsticks only cost $15 to you. We're going to move on to next steps and what you can do about this whole drumstick price and what your options are. But before that, I just need to get into today's video sponsor. This software is called Songmaster. So Songmaster and Songmaster Pro, which is the Pro plan, is undoubtedly one of the most in-depth song analyzing tools I've ever used. The big things that it can do are chart songs, recognize chords, remove instrument parts, use loop functions, and slow down parts that you can practice. It offers so much more that I haven't even discovered yet because there's so much to it. But here's how I use this when I practice and learn drum parts. So here we are on Songmaster. What you want to do is load in a track. It then loads in that track, and it's got all these tools that you can use to kind of analyze what the track is and how it is. My favorite thing about this is the chart tool. So this song, if I play it, here we are on the chart tool, and it's got the chords, it's got the bars. I can't even comprehend how it can recognize this stuff. But this song has a drum part which I would want to learn, so I will go to mixer and I will go to stem tracks, generate stems, and when I generate all of those, it will individualize all the stems so that you can mute certain things. Okay, so here are the stems, and what you can do is just isolate the drum part so you can hear what's going on. You can also then go slow that down. So let me play it. So what I would do with this tool is slow down drum parts like that, and then there's a looping function there that you can loop them, and then you can practice things so that you nail them perfectly. Again, there's so much more to this than I've even discovered, and it is such a fantastic tool for learning and improving when it comes to learning songs and understanding them. If you want to check Songmaster out, there is a link in the description of this video. Okay, so what are your options now if you do not want to buy $15 drumsticks? Use cheaper sticks. Over the past year, I've used a few random drumstick brands, and I'm starting to realize that they are really not that bad. Before that, I would always use Vic Firth 5As because I believed that nothing was better than a Vic Firth 5A. If I used 5As from Vic and then I swapped to some random sticks that I used to use where I taught, they'd feel like crap in my hands. They'd just feel too thin. They feel like they would break. When I went back to the Vic Firth 5As, I was like, these are so much better. I'm always going to use these. But that has now started to change, and I've started using cheaper sticks that really, they're fun. I mean, when I went to that music store and saw Vic Firth 5As for $27, I was like, no ways, but I needed sticks. So I actually ended up getting Tama 5A sticks, not knowing that Tama even made drumsticks, but these have felt incredible, and I've been using them for about 3 months now, and they're fine. They haven't broke. They feel good. So getting cheaper sticks really isn't as bad as a lot of us think it could be. If you want to know which sticks to get, I went on Reddit and found a few options that people recommend, and the best ones were Sound Percussion, Dope Sticks from Eric Moore, and Vincent. Find bundle sales. If you still want to stick with the bigger brands like Vic Firth or Promark, rather buy 10 of them at once and get 2 pairs for free so that you save a bit of money in the long run. Consider the size of the drumsticks you're currently using. Alright, so the big problem is you pay $15 to use sticks and then you use them and then they break, and that's where the frustration is. Because if you just paid $15 for drumsticks and they lasted an entire year, I don't think any of us would have an issue with that. The issue is when you break sticks and then you have to pay $15. So a big tip that I have for every drummer out there is, are you really sure that the size of drumstick you're using is the best fit for you? If you're a hard drummer, it's better to use 5Bs over 5As. 5Bs will likely take a bashing a lot better than 5As would. Look at your technique. The biggest thing that breaks drumstick is if you have bad technique in terms of digging your sticks into the drums or to the cymbals. If you dig your stick into a drum, it's not releasing the vibrations that are being put in, and that puts strain on the stick, and that's what causes them to snap. So just make sure you're rebounding your strokes every time you play the drums. Another potential thing that you could do is play fewer rim shots and play on the edge of the hi-hat less, because sticks start to chip when they hit metal of the rims or the sharp edge of a hi-hat. However, this is not something I'm going to do for myself because I like those sounds, so I would rather my sticks break and I'd still get the sounds I want. Get a stick endorsement. So this is probably the best way of still playing the sticks you want, but it's definitely the hardest. Become part of a big band or grow a big social media following, get a drumstick brand to notice you, reach out to them and ask them for some sort of deal where they give you discounts on sticks and then you give them exposure from all the people that are watching you use their products. That's what all the famous drummers do. So Eloy Casagrande uses Promark sticks and he probably hasn't paid for a pair of drumsticks in years. But you don't need to be the drummer for Slipknot to get that sort of deal. You see drummers all the time that are more local, but they still set up endorsement deals with different stick brands. Those deals just might not be as ludicrous as what Eloy Casagrande has. So will this drumstick situation with the prices ever get any better? I don't think so. I think it's just something we all have to adapt to. Everything in the world keeps getting pricier and we just need to go with the price increases and just make it work. However, another way of stopping yourself from breaking so many drumsticks is just becoming a better drummer. Learning new things just continuously improves your overall playing in every way. And if you're looking for something new to learn, check this video out.